Test test. Mic test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Good afternoon. It is my privilege to welcome all of you to the Convocation for Rush University's Masters of Science in Nursing Generalist Entry Master's Program. My name is Terry Gallagher, and I'm the Director of Generalist Education in the College of Nursing. Welcome to all of our attendees, graduates, faculty, family, friends, and loved ones who are attending today in this room, on Zoom, and also a YouTube live stream. As we've all learned these past 18 months, technology can be a blessing and a curse, but today we are calling it a blessing, allowing everyone to celebrate together in a variety of ways, as long as it works. Speaking of the last 18 months, I would like to add some context today. Let's go back to March 2020, as much as we don't want to. Your cohort had completed one term out of 6, and you were in the middle of your second term. And you were in the middle of your second term, just returning from spring break, when it became clear to all that COVID was an imminent risk and your education would be impacted. Within 4 days, the campus was closed and all learning was switched to virtual. The impact on you, on your faculty, on your families was unknown at that point. Facing such uncertainty, you all supported each other and remained dedicated to your education. I hope you see the challenges you faced while being full-time students in the middle of a pandemic with the social reckoning with racism and global turmoil may have made things more difficult, but it also taught you things we might not have. You saw the death and destruction the politicization of science causes. You saw how important it is to explain complex scientific concepts in a way that is easy to understand. And when that message gets too confusing, the fear of it and resistance to it becomes almost insurmountable. One of your fellow graduates thought a harm reduction approach to the public health guidance around COVID-19 would be more effective, which is something that should have been part of the messaging from the start. I wonder if we would be in a better place today had any of you been in charge of the pandemic response. Although the education you received may have looked different than the education you expected, you are graduating with a broader perspective on how political policies, racism, and communities in which people live can affect the health of your patients. These difficult lessons you learned will inform your nursing practice and improve the outcomes of your patients. Anyone who is under your care will be better off for you having had this experience. One of the last large events I attended with students until today was the screening we held for the documentary 5B about the nursing staff at San Francisco General who changed the way patients were cared for during the HIV/AIDS epidemic. 2 of your fellow graduates asked to hold a screening here because they wanted their classmates to see how nurses can and should disrupt the healthcare system and change the way we provide care. Just 3 months after that screening, we were all facing a pandemic. In this pandemic, nurses answered the call to action and designed interventions to save lives, reduce pressure ulcers, and ensure their patients had contact with family and loved ones. You, as students, rose to the occasion too. In addition to your studies, you volunteered to test people in the community as well as your fellow students for COVID-19. You volunteered to administer the vaccine as soon as it was available. You worked as nursing assistants all around the hospital and cared for people with this deadly virus. Your contributions have not gone unnoticed. We see you, we applaud you. Although you may not feel it right now, you are ready to graduate and enter the nursing workforce. We have the utmost confidence in you and in your abilities. You still have a lot of learning in front of you, and your first year as a nurse will be challenging. You will not know all the answers, but you know how to find them. Congratulations on your graduation. You have made your faculty and me incredibly proud. I'm very excited to be here celebrating with you today. I would now like to introduce our first speaker, the Dean of the College of Nursing, Dr. Christine Kennedy. Dean Kennedy.
Thank you, Terry, and welcome to all of you. I am also, I'm sort of just coming in the door while you all are heading out the door, but I do know students like you. I worked in San Francisco during that time period of the AIDS epidemic, and there are similarities. But I want to highlight and share with you today has a lot more to do with a reflection. And sometimes it is the only way to go forward is to go onwards and forward instead of reflecting only on our history. I want to quote a man by the name of Orson Mardin, who in the 1800s had an unbelievable challenges in his life. And his quote was, "There is no medicine like hope, no incentive so great and no tonic so powerful as the expectation of something better tomorrow." From the onset, we in nursing were reminded to have a resiliency plan. We didn't know that it would be tested time and time again in our programs with the dual plagues of the pandemic and the fight for racial equity in healthcare. The class of 2021, which you all represent, is really off into the world, better prepared than any other that came before you. And it's not reflected in the coursework necessarily that you did or the clinical rotations that you have. It is instead reflective of the time of how you went through this process the past 2 years. You are coming out, as Dr. Gallagher mentioned, out of the program better prepared to care for patients, to advocate for your patients and the populations and yourselves into the profession of nursing and to fight for health equity. The healthcare system will be even stronger and more equitable in the future because of you all and because of this experience that you've lived through the past 2 years. And we have history actually to back this up about how this comes about. The College of Nursing's heritage dates back actually to 1885. I'm not sure if all of you are history buffs or are familiar with that, but the antecedent of Rush was St. Luke's Hospital Training School. It was opened as a diploma education for nurses in Chicago in, as I said, 1885. And in 1903, Presbyterian Hospital School accepted its first student. These two programs would merge in 1956. But if you know American history, you know that during the early 1900s, we had what was that time at the turn of the century in Chicago and in most large metropolitan cities in the United States, a pandemic that was called the Spanish flu, something that the United States had not seen in its young history. Street nursing was born, and in Chicago, like many other large urban cities, as I've mentioned, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Boston, a tsunami of illness and death brought about public health nursing into its own vibrant contribution that it made. So we had nurses from these antecedent hospital college programs that became Rush in the 1970s out in the streets, in the tenements, and the homes of the wealthy alike. And it was only later in this history that nursing as a profession became more exclusively focused in on the practice in the hospital setting. From 1956 to 1968, nurses were taught at this merged program. And then it was in 1972 that what we would call the modern Rush College of Nursing became about. So Rush nurses have actually existed for over 130 years. You should take a lot of pride in that. There's not a lot of programs in the United States that have that sort of historical antecedents. As I mentioned, Rush nurses worked through other epidemics. They established settlement homes or houses to attend to poor women and children's needs before the concept of social determinants of health was ever coined. Many nurses served in the two wars. They also served in a lot of the regional wars, Korea. A lot of my friends were in the Vietnam War in the Nurses Corps. Also recently, Afghanistan. And several efforts that went on at that time were also for reversing inequities during the Jim Crow period, following the Civil Rights Movement, the actions of the people, Poor People's March, and the work that happened with nurses working in the area after the unfortunate and untimely assassination of Martin Luther King and others. So next year, we'll celebrate the 50th anniversary of the modern Rush College, if you want to call it. And that was formed by Luther Chrisman in 1972. And I want you to know about Luther. Dr. Chrisman is considered a maverick in American nursing. He was one of the first men who really pushed the envelope in the window of practice and challenged a lot of assumptions that were made about gender and about innovation. So you have twin roots by graduating from the Rush program. You have lived through this pandemic, but you have had roots in an institution that was formed before the previous epidemic. You have roots in an institution that has had faculty who have been involved in pushing issues around social justice and the needs of the populations that we work with and serve So you have been well prepared by a place that has had this history, and we are looking forward to you carrying this history with you as you move out into your own practice settings. I would also like to take this moment to really do a large shout out to, in addition to Dr. Terry Gallagher, who is with us, but also to do a shout out to Dr. Monique Reed, who is on the road and not with us right now. And in addition, the staff leads for the program, Marquita Cross and Janaea Murphy. These four individuals, along with a lot of the other faculty who I won't go through the names of right now, are the individuals who created this top ranked program. If you didn't hear about it this year, the program that you're graduating from has moved from being ranked number 27 in the United States to number 13. And that's out of 600 programs in the United States. And you're in good hands because a lot of your faculty also teach in the DNP program, which is ranked this past year number 1 in the United States. So I think you should take an opportunity to realize that you come from very strong roots with a good academic preparation, although you are walking out into a world that is one where we are all looking to see what will it really look like by the time we live through the end of this pandemic. As graduates, we welcome you to join us in this experience, even though it may be anxiety provoking to not know what's the reckoning will be for these issues once you go out into practice. However, we know that from the work in nursing that you in fact can draw a better tomorrow. And we have high expectations that you will be the ones who are doing that and leading the future of nursing. That's what we've prepared you for. You are highly capable of doing that. And so I will bid you at this point, as we move on, to be brave, to take risk, remain curious, practice radical compassion, stay grounded in the science, and lead with integrity. You are now Rush nurses, so congratulations.
I would now like to invite up to speak Dr. Melissa Browning, the president of the Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's Nurses Alumni Association.
Hi, everybody. I walked in the room and I said, when did they start school? Was it right before the pandemic? So I have to say the fact that you guys made it through school in the middle of a pandemic, give you guys a shout out. Yay, congratulations. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So in addition to the congratulations for you for completing your studies, I want to welcome you all to the Alumni Association. Isn't that amazing? You're like, I graduate, now you're an alumni, right? So since your first day here at Rush, you have made the journey to become the professional you are today. The Alumni Association has been behind the scenes supporting you every step of your journey. I'm happy to share that you are now part of our rich heritage of nursing that dates back to, and I was going to actually ask if anyone knew the year, but our dean just told us. I know she spoiled my surprise. So all the way back to 1885. You're joining a group of more than 8,000 active alumni who share your commitment to the highest standards of excellence and compassionate care for those we serve. As a Rush graduate, you will always feel part of the Rush family. This feeling is not unique. It is shared by other College of Nursing alumni practicing all over the world. And I just to let you know, I graduated from the DNP program in 2009, and I had a project that I worked on with maybe somebody that you all know, Dr. Richter. Everyone know Dr. Richter? Yes, we solved all the problems of hypoglycemia in the adult critical care units. That was a joke, right? Okay, we did solve all the problems. That's exactly what happened. I still remember our graduation day when Lynn and I were together, and I think we share in that it was such a sense of pride and also relief and just sheer happiness that you had gone through this, and then you will have those relationships forever. So you see how Dr. Richter and I have known each other for years, knew before that, and still do. So take some time to reflect on that, because I think that's really something to take pride in and really enjoy right now. I think we are also very fortunate in that alumni elsewhere do not really have the same sense of pride. At Rush, we've received an outstanding education, as you can tell from the programs, but being our rankings, and you will have these lifelong connections. It has been a gift, and I am honored to serve with a wonderful board of directors and help build upon that connection for Rush's nursing students and alumni. I always try to remember that it's truly a privilege to serve others. As Rush Nurse alumni, we are committed to serving our patients, institutions, and the nursing profession. As an alumni, you will automatically be a member of the Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's Nurses Alumni Association, such a long term, and will receive communication about our events and invitations as well. I encourage you to serve Rush and its students by staying connected. There are several things you can do. You can volunteer to be a guest speaker for student groups. You've probably experienced some of that. We usually have somebody come and talk to everybody. You can volunteer to give career advice, support scholarships, and come back for campus events. There are many ways to stay involved, but we do a call for the board of directors. So I hope a few of you will consider running for an appointment. I think it would be great to have new graduate nurses, because I think you would really understand that connection with the students, which is what we're here for. So really encourage you to think about that. So today you receive a Rush badge reel as a gift and a reminder of your roots here at Rush as you move forward in your career. I am thrilled to welcome each of you to our Rush Nurse alumni community. Congratulations to all of you. Thanks.
Okay, I would now like to invite up Kristen Lerner. So Kristen, Kristen is the outgoing president of SNA, and she's going to present the SNA award, and then she's going to stay up here and give her class address as the class spokesperson. Take it away.
Thank you so much. So the Student Nurses Association, every graduating cohort always votes on an applicant from the graduating cohort. And this award is presented to the person that that exhibits exceptional clinical nursing skills, which will have a positive and significant impact on communities as well as their future patients. So I'm happy to award this to Kristen Fritz. Congratulations, Kristen, you deserve it. Yes. Okay, so good afternoon, esteemed College of Nursing faculty, Dean Kennedy, Associate Deans Hicks and Julian. Welcome to our friends and families who are watching from home, and to my fellow graduates of Cohort 26. Thank you for this opportunity to be our convocation speaker. I am truly honored. Today marks a momentous occasion, one that we have all been striving towards and anticipating for some time. To say that the last 2 years were a bit challenging seems to be somewhat of an understatement, but we made it, we did it, and we are here. It truly feels like just yesterday that our pinning ceremony happened. We had independent experiences prior to attending Rush that we hoped equipped us for the journey in furthering our education. We all shared the common goal of finding our places within the nursing profession. Now, we have collectively exhibited great strength and perseverance throughout that educational journey, with the additional test in the form of a global pandemic. While we did not necessarily sign up for virtual learning and proctored Zoom exams, which in all fairness, neither did our instructors, we faced scholastic challenges and professional realizations while conquering them with fortitude. For some of us, that also included the need to recognize and celebrate personal daily achievements to make it through the unknown. On that note of celebration, if I may just take a moment to highlight a few accolades, and my fellow cohort 26, I will need your participation in this. First, I want to celebrate all of the parents that are in our cohort. Please stand if you are a parent within cohort 26. If you're joining via Zoom, please raise a virtual hand. You all not only were taking on roles of parent and student when entering this program, you then became teachers, daycare workers, guidance counselors, math tutors, even IT tech support as the world changed around us. Each of you is inspiring. Your selflessness is incredible, and you all deserve long post-graduation vacations at the very least. Next, those of us who are nursing assistants, please stand or continue to stand and raise a virtual hand. You all have worked alongside nurses and interprofessional teams to optimize daily care of patients at Rush. Many of you did so for patients with COVID-19 throughout the last year or year and a half, in addition to other patient populations. Your participation in this role was not only supportive to the intense workload of our registered nurses, but it also continues to be crucial in daily patient care and health outcomes. Third, those of us who took part in any public health initiatives with early COVID testing or COVID vaccination administration, please stand or continue to stand and raise a virtual hand. You volunteered your time to take action and answer a call to help save lives. You armed some of Chicagoland's most vulnerable communities and individuals with an improved chance at survival. This is a prime example of what it means to be a nurse, what it means to be a Rush University educated nurse. Lastly, anyone in cohort 26 that hustled and focused to complete the incredible demand of our GEM program while working towards their MSN, RN, or CNL, please stand or continue to stand and raise your virtual hands. Look around. We are all standing because while there are so many more notable accomplishments for each of you that I wish that I had time to mention, make no mistake, us being here together is the overarching accomplishment of all. This accomplishment illustrates our individual paths of resiliency and our collaborative effort to succeed. Thanks for the support, 26. You guys can all be seated. When I asked you, my fellow graduates, to share positive things from the last 2 years or a discovery that you made about yourself during this program, the most common response that I received revolved around that word, resiliency. Multiple students mentioned that they did not know or were surprised with how resilient they were. Some found out that they could do so much more than they ever thought they were capable of. Every one of us is resilient, and each of us should be incredibly proud of the strides we took to get here. We are a cohort of forward thinkers and outward speakers, and there are limitless possibilities to what each of us can do in the new chapter of our careers. I am confident that many of us as master's prepared nurses will evolve healthcare access and discover more effective ways to improve healthcare equity and equality after what we lived, saw, discussed, and studied again and again. Some may think this pandemic will continue to serve as a reminder of adversity, but it will influence decisions we make in the future to elevate diversity. Now, it may also remind us of a time when we took for granted that everyone else knew the importance of washing their hands. Luckily, while we were constantly selecting hand hygiene on answers and virtual exams, everyone else in the world was also relearning proper technique. But in all seriousness, this group right here is the promising future of the nursing profession. We will let our strengths of character continue to grow while learning from colleagues and patient experiences in the process. I'm excited to see those of you that will work in hospital administration, informatics, to find and implement evidence that will provide the next best practice. I implore you to keep striving for success, keep conversations going about how to improve healthcare, Keep making differences in the health of patients and communities, but for goodness sake, take a break first. We all definitely deserve it. I want to extend a special thank you to Dr. Reed and Dr. Gallagher for leading us all through this program. Thank you to our entire faculty, instructors, and mentors who were there to guide us through the journey. To the Rush Student Nurses Association Board and Faculty Advisor Professor Tristan Banks, thank you for inspiring me to be the best leader that I can be. SNA has been a part of my Rush experience since term 1 and holds a special significance to my education. I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to personally thank a few people in my life. My mother, who always influenced me to lead through positivity and kindness towards others. My father, who as a firefighter taught me that life is about balance, think practically, but with heart and empathy. My beloved friends who continue to cheer me on, even during times when it may be difficult for me to cheer for myself. And my family watching in California right now, you may not realize it, but each of you inspired me to pursue the second career in my mid-30s, and I'm forever grateful for your continued love and support from afar. Thank you everyone for your time, and to my fellow graduates, whether you stay in Chicago or you take your nursing adventure to another state, I wish each of you only the best and know that you always have a Rush family in cohort 26.
That was a wonderful speech. Thank you, Kristen. So now it is time for your pinning. So Marquita is going to direct the graduates. If you are on Zoom, when your name is called, please come off mute and turn your camera on. Our names today are going to be read by Jania Murphy. And I would also like to introduce our pinners. So these are faculty that were chosen by this cohort. We have Dr. Lynn Richter. And Dr. Judy Fry. We have Kate Schaefer, who is a PhD candidate. And we have Dr. Ramona Hunter. We're all a little bit rusty here. All right, Jania, take it away.
All right. Courtney Adler. Adeyemi Akinbade. Camilla Alani. Amanda Anderson. Christina Anderson. Aaron Anderson. Rihanna Bechan. Lauren Barkus. Sarah Ballard. Trevor Beerer. Jacqueline Behrens. Sarah Biyugun. Kelly Brinson. Maziel Casedo. Maria Clark. Andre Collins. Diana Del Rio. Marie Doherty. Christina Dorsey. Courtney Devarick. Nolan Dyer. Shandu Foster. Kristen Fritz. Isabel Goduku. Natalie Hagelada. Alam Hamdawi. Petal Harris. Aaron Hayes. Ashley Hudson. Barry Hughes. Daniel Hurwitz. Natalie Ebe. Monica Cap. Anna Kinderman. Olivia Kishalewski. John Kreckman. Kristen Lerner. Rebecca Leuenberger. Abigail Licky. Madeline Makeley. Laurel Marshall. Troy Meikle. Korea Mitchell. Fallon Moffitt. Sarah Akiko Mormon. Stacy Morris. Shannon Morris. Laurencia Ouedraogo. Sandra Oyende. Tanya Pacheco. Aaron Pins. Julia Payatetsky. Megan Rediger. Nicole Rainan. Stephen Rhodes. Natasha Horsley Richardson. Sierra Rude. Rebecca Sayer. Michelle Shack. Catherine Schmidt. Maya Schmidt. Marina Silva. Alyssa Straits. Kevin Teister. Jillian Tran. Jennifer Veith. Natalie Viard. Kara Welch Rubin. Heather Whitfield. Alexandra Huertas. Kristen Wong. All right, congratulations, you all. And then we're just gonna play a slideshow of some of your memories from over the past 2 years.
All right, well, let's give cohort 26 another round of applause. Congratulations. And even though they couldn't be here in person to celebrate with you today, let's give a round of applause to your support systems, whether that's your partners, your family. I'm sure they're all very proud of you. On behalf of the College of Nursing, congratulations on this momentous accomplishment. As you leave here today, please remember that we as a college are here for you and will be rooting for your success. I'm sure we'll come across each other again, whether it be as colleagues, as fellow faculty, or as a nurse helping any one of us through a difficult time. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to each other as you embark on this next chapter. Cohort 26, it has been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations, and we will see you soon.
I think you're done.